pretty quiet this morning. Let's drop my wife off for surgery. I'm sure some of you have dropped your wife off for surgery. It's a very unsettling feeling. I mean, I know for my wife it's a routine surgery. She go really quick. But there's always that, even with the simple surgeries, there's a percentage of chance of something going wrong. And you don't really start thinking about how much you love your wife and how much you need her in your life until you drop her off for surgery or anything else major happens with your wife. So I'm back here at the house. Need to get some stuff done. Kind of take my mind off of it a little bit. It's what? Well, it's just after 7:30. I went to Waffle House right after I dropped her off. Is that bad? Today's video, I gotta get some stuff done around the house real quick, and then we're gonna look at all of the air management stuff for mine and my wife's car. Today it's supposed to rain because of Paul Wall's hurricane. I say Paul Wall's hurricane because Crystal Bowell. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong for that? I mean, everybody remembers Paul Wall when he said disco ball. So this is Crystal Ball. Don't laugh too hard, please. Or if you're not laughing, laugh. It's funny shit. All right. But yeah, we're going to go through all that. It's supposed to rain today because of that. But for the next 5 days, it's Monday today. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday are 5 more days that I'm off. I've got a lot of plans, and it's not supposed to rain the rest of the week after today. It's supposed to be really nice and actually cool up a little bit as the week progresses. I'm going to get some stuff done. Alright. See that? Freaking clouds already coming in. Alright. Let me show you what I've done so far. I went ahead and there was... Oh, that's Mom's car. She's staying the night with my wife tonight because she has to stay there for 24 hours just to make sure there's no complications. This fence actually went out a little bit out that way. And then he had these 2 fence pieces over there along the front of his property that he had over there where Steve was living, remember? So I took all these. I cut and trimmed everything down in this area here. I trimmed a couple branches off of these little trees. Weeded it all the way through there. And then moved these 2 pieces of fence over here. Tied them up. Got them wedged in place. So then that way, and I also mowed the grass. It is now, what, freaking 9 o'clock. Now see the fence. We've got that fence line coming straight up so that it's on this side, and then everything is cleared out. So that keeps that clean, and his lot has a bunch of trash left on it. But I guess that's part of moving out. These people have to do that. I trimmed a lot of stuff along here, along the edge. Moved all the trash that was here. There was a big pile of trash right behind this bush here, and a bunch of piles of trash there. And I moved everything over to there. So then that way it's out of the way, so that when I did this, I didn't have any complications getting all that cleaned out. So the mowing's done. And got all of the grass shavings all blowed off the concrete. Everything's looking pretty. So, all right, let's get in here. Everything's okay. Everything went as planned. Mom gave me a message just a little bit ago saying that everything went fine, surgery's done, and yeah. That's a load off my mind. I still don't know if they had to take her ovaries or not. I guess that's a little bit personal, but I don't know how else to be. I think we've been pretty much personal for how long have we been doing this? Over 10 years? Yeah. You guys know everything. So that's a load off my mind. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a breather. It's almost 10 o'clock now. I didn't do anything yet. I was a little worried, sat around a little bit, but all that's good. I did straighten out the table here. Somebody gave me a really good idea on the spacers, just to touch on that real quick for the golf cart, and that is, instead of cutting these, actually just buy like a 1/4 to 1/2 inch worth of spacers to fill in, filler plates to kick these out, and then all I got to do is buy 10 lug nuts that are shorter. So that sounds like a good idea, you know. Just, I guess I'm gonna take a breather and I'm gonna run over to can't think of the name right now. Napa? Let's see what that will cost me. I don't know how much the spacers are. I hope they're not expensive. But yeah. Talk to you guys after a little bit. Look at here. I decided to go ahead and get my windows tinted because I'm nervous spending. But Arkansas Window Tint, these guys are brand new over here off of Highway 5. Hopefully the wind's not getting me. Across from Harps over on Highway 5 in Benton. And he's got him a shop here. He just opened up. Right now he's pretty well booked. So I mean, he does good work. 100% guarantee, a lifetime guarantee on the tint so that it doesn't bubble. He's already done several vehicles this morning. He's got a couple more lined up. But hell yeah, I'm gonna get the front windows done, and then the eyebrow done on my truck. That way, everything will be even all the way around. Once we get around to it, we get a little bit of extra money saved up, then we'll end up coming back out here and getting my wife's Toyota 86 done. We got to get the front windows done on it, and the back window done. So that'll be a little bit more. So what the hell are you doing here?
You standing out here looking like a fool, so I figured I'd stop.
I'm just trying to record you now. You're gonna be in the next YouTube video.
It's all good.
It's gonna make me me famous having you on the video.
I don't know about all that.
Oh, you need to bag this sumbitch right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here it is. Got that window tint done. Man, that's pretty badass. I like the way he did that. I asked him to put it kind of straight, but still, I didn't want it to dip down real hard on the side. That way I can still be able to look out pretty good. But I didn't want it too much different from the back. It's about the same, maybe a little bit darker in the back, but that way I'm just shaded. I didn't want to have to squint to look out of my vehicle. So there we go. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next. All right. We've had 2 video chats with my wife, and she's looking better and better. I mean, she's still on whatever pain relievers they're giving her, and she's feeling better though. So I'm happy to hear that. That makes me feel more relaxed at getting some stuff done. Got the windows tinted, like we just showed you, and now, did I tell you guys? I can't remember in the video if I went back and told you guys that I did get the spacers for the golf cart, and I did order the lug nuts. I've got 9 lug nuts. I need 1 more lug nut, which they had to order it, and it should be over there now. But I'm gonna play with the air management. That is ultimately what we're going to be doing today. Is we are going to be breaking out the air management and trying to figure out if we have everything that we need. So I'm gonna go ahead and aim this down here in a way. Okay, I had to pause for a little bit. I was looking outside, and our awning on the side of the camper
loaded up with water, and all of a sudden it just fell on one side. I thought I had it angled enough to where the water was going to run off, but apparently not. And all of a sudden it slipped. It's designed to slip brake rather than to actually brake and then get the water off of there. So yeah, we're good. I'm back to our regularly scheduled program. I'm going to angle this to where you see right at the top. This is the edge. Right here is the edge of the table. So you guys are seeing just that. This is the tank that we got. This is the bottom for the drain. And then on each side, you've got 2 ports. Right there and right there for being able to add all of the air management. This will end up like this with these facing up, and the drain will be on the bottom so that you can get the water off of there. So I'm gonna gather up the rest of the stuff and set it up here. That way we can go ahead and start adding different parts that need to be added. All right, kind of semi-assembling stuff. There's a dampening adjuster here, so you can go from hard all the way from hard to soft. It actually comes with a piece that goes into there, screws right onto the top of it. That's not done for you already. That way you can actually do it right there. This is an extension piece. These are the rear bags, and this goes over the button, so it extends out into your trunk so you can adjust it a little bit easier. I went ahead and put those on there. There's all kinds of videos on YouTube here that shows you exactly how all that works, so I'm not going to get into all of that. The other thing it comes with a leader hose, so that it's a braided protected line that's going to be in there with the suspension. It comes with 1/4 inch airline push to connect fittings. The person that ordered these for me ordered 3/8. So if I want to run 3/8 line all the way through the body panel, which is a lot harder, then I'll have to get a 3/8 line push to connect fitting that will fit on the end of this. I don't want 3/8. I would have much rather have had the 1/4 inch. I should have specified that when I ordered it, but it was taken care of for me. So if when I do this, I'm gonna end up having to buy reduced fittings. So that's one thing that I'm kind of debating on how I'm gonna do that in order to try to get this done this week. I might be able to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and pick up some fittings to reduce the 3/8 to 1/4. That way I can still use the 3/8 line into here and hook it up to the tank, use all 3/8 to hook all of that up, but then in line when it's about to head over to the bags, then I'll put a reduced fitting to go from 3/8 to 1/4. And it is absolutely still raining out there. So anyway, yeah, that's more likely what I'm gonna do, because 1/4 inch line is here. Let me talk to you. 1/4 inch line is so much easier to push through. Yes, it's not gonna have that boom, pow, I'm up at the top. But then again, I don't really like that. I don't like to jump. I never have. I mean, I've been doing this, what, almost 15 years now, and I've never liked having a fast running vehicle as far as air ride going up and down. So I am going to do the reduced fittings. That way everything can run a lot smoother. I'm gonna get the rest of this kind of grouped up and together. I've got 2 more struts to put together to make sure that they have that all the fittings are there. I may end up taking, because it's raining today, I may end up taking a ride over to Home Depot. Once I get all this figured out, take a ride over to Home Depot and figure out how I want all this to work. I've got, this is so that both compressors can run into this from both sides. This is the drain, or an air dryer. So compressor, this goes straight onto the side. Oh, you can't see what I'm talking about. This goes straight onto the side of the tank, so that you can have a water separator, and that goes right onto there. That way, when the compressor air is going in and out to the tank, it catches a lot of the moisture in there. Whatever doesn't get caught, you also end up with a drain on the bottom of the tank, and then that can be drained as well. So both of these will be on the tank at some point or another between the compressors and the airflow in. I would have liked to have had 2 of these, one for each side. These, I mean, they're quite costly, but they come in real handy. The only setback is you need to drain these constantly. Either that, or you would have this line extended out to another ball valve so the water could collect farther down the line, and then you can air it out underneath the vehicle straight onto the ground. Some people even have it's almost like a quick release with a rope or a cable on it, so you can yank it and it pulls it over, and that opens it up. So you can actually run that out to the edge of your vehicle or into your trunk, and you can pull on a little ring, and it'll pull that drain to the side, and it'll spit the water out the bottom. I don't know if I'm going to go all that route. I have those on my big truck. You can get those at any big truck dealership. Just go to the maintenance department and you can pick those up. It'd be come in really handy to be able to have an extended drain valve somewhere on your vehicle in order so that it drains out onto the ground, rather than having to put a cup underneath something like this in your trunk. It just would be a lot easier. I'm probably going to deal with the trunk. You can also put a line into here so that when you open this, it'll drain outside as well. But doing it the way I'm talking about, with having this off of there and put that other valve on there, what that does is that also helps you out in being able to have more area for that water to drain out, instead of it just filling up this little thing. Otherwise, every time you go to run your vehicle, every other week, once a week or every other day, you're gonna have to drain this so that it doesn't fill up, because once it fills up, it's just pushing it straight into your tank anyway. So yeah, let me get the rest of this figured out and I'll be right back. The other thing that this kit, again, I should have specified 200 psi pressure switch. I don't ever run anything at 200 psi. And my reasoning for that is because that's where your compressor maxes out. Your compressor maxes out at 200 psi. You run your compressor up to 200 psi, you're using the maximum amount of amperage. So it's putting a huge drain on the whole system of your vehicle power-wise. Second, you're maxing out the tank, you're maxing out your airlines, you're maxing out everything that's going to be hit with 200 psi. Your valves are holding back 200 psi. I don't like running the 200 psi because it makes all that wear down faster. So I like finding out what airs up the front of the vehicle, and then go, I don't know, probably about 10 to 20 psi beyond that. Yes, your compressors are going to turn on every time you air up your vehicle, but if you're like me, I don't play up and down, back and forth and all that. I get to where I'm going, I lay it out, I'm done. I air it up, I get to going. So the compressors turn on, they air it up, and they're ready for the next time you lay it out and bring it back up again. If you're going down a road, it's ready to air you up. Some people like the feeling of going up fast because they feel safer when they're going down the highway to be able to pop up easier. There are other advantages to being able to pop up faster and have that higher PSI, but the disadvantage to me is that it wears down your entire system. A big truck, an 18-wheeler, runs on no more than 125 to 130 PSI. That's it. They don't run beyond that. That's enough to air up your tires. That's enough to air up the bags. That's enough to go down the road. So, that being said, I believe I have a few other pressure switches on hand. This one will get stashed to the side. It can be used as a backup. You can also use a 200 psi if you need it to go that high. You can. If not, you can put a manual toggle switch on it if that's all you have. If you don't have any other pressure switches, put a manual toggle switch in place, which I have some other videos on the last Toyota pickup that I built. It was what, a 94 Toyota pickup, and I've got how to do a manual switch. So you can put in a manual switch, use the 200 psi, see where it airs up to, and flip it off yourself. But if you forget to turn it off, it'll stop at 200. So we've got these this right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this drain on here without any Teflon tape. Normally I would end up putting Teflon tape, but right now I'm just trying to measure everything up and see where everything is going to be able to go. That also stops this from rolling off the bench. I'm gonna try to think of how I want all this ran, because I know this is going to end up mounting somewhere in the center somewhere, and then I've got this. I'm wanting this valve block to mount below it. So if you were looking from the opening of the trunk in, this would be at the top of the trunk all the way in the back, and then I want this riding underneath it with the air lines coming out, and wherever these end, where you lose them, is where they're going to switch over to 1/4 inch. You've got your compressors. The compressors are going to go almost straight into this. Again, that's the problem. You have ports on either side and you only have one air dryer. Kind of doesn't make sense, because then you'd have to tee both air compressors to this one air dryer. So if you had two, you could put one on this side, one on this side, and that would make complete sense, because then your compressors could go into that on both sides. Unless you're going to run your compressors side by side into a T, and then this off the T going out to your tank. That's the only way this would be effective. Other than that, I'll probably end up just running this, and I'll run my compressor straight into the tank and make sure that I drain my tank regularly, or drain my wife's tank regularly. Every weekend I come home, I'm gonna open this up and drain her tank. Humid days, you're gonna end up with more moisture in your tank. If you live in drier climates, you're gonna have less water building up in your tank. Here in Arkansas, we'll probably be draining it every weekend, just to make sure that we don't get a lot of that moisture all the way through our system, which that's going to happen. You're going to get moisture going through your whole system. So they do make treatment. WD-40 also works really good, because WD-40 is a water displacement. That means it pushes water aside and cleans it out. So, you know, every now and again, you can actually use WD-40 into your airlines and have it push through your valves, and that can actually help to keep a lot of the rust and water and moisture out of your system. The tank also comes with these, are for your steering and whatnot. I'm not 100% sure what these are for. If you want to tell me what these are for, let me know. I'm sure once I get under there and look at them, I'm going to figure it out. But I think, hang on, I'm pretty sure these are basically your tie rod ends, to extend your tie rod ends, so that probably the stock ones aren't really good for an air ride system. So we'll see. This probably helps you to be able to lay out, and these eliminate the toe in and out as it's airing in and out. So I don't know. That's my guess right now. If I'm right, let me know. If I'm wrong, please explain it to me. Your front and rear both have two different tools. So your fronts are here, your rears are a lot bigger. I'm keeping all these tools set aside. Your fronts come with this tool, which is to help with the top angle of your bags, I'm going to leave mine in the middle because we're not going to be hitting a track anytime soon. And if they need to be adjusted, we can let an alignment shop fix that up, which I've got an alignment shop around the corner from me that I believe will do an alignment on a bagged vehicle. So, and that's all I got on that. Got the mounts for this. Now I'm going to figure out exactly what else I'll be needing to make this tank work with what I have. Like I said, I think the compressors are just going to go straight into this tank, and then I'll have a push to connect fitting on either side that'll go out to this. So all that will be 3/8, because I'll have the 3/8 out of both ends of the tank, depending on whether I'm going to mount the compressors on the ends or here. I'm thinking I want to go with 90-degree fittings right off of this, so that this can come down under the tank and straight into the valve block. I also need to have a spot where I'm going to screw in the pressure switch, which I believe the pressure switch is 1/4 inch threading, if I'm not mistaken. I believe there is a reduced fitting here for that, because you've got 3/8 fittings on the tank, and then you've got this 1/4 inch goes right into the fitting. So now you have that. So this is good. I'm going to go ahead and put the thread protector back onto that, because like I said, I'm not going to be using that. I've got 90s. I'm trying to figure out exactly where all of these are going to go. Also sent me a plug. I don't believe I'm going to be using the plug. And there's no T-fitting. There's no way to split any of these holes. So I got to make sure of where everything's going to mount. I'm going to be back. I'm rambling. Well, look, I'm back. All right. So what I'm looking at here is I'll have one on each side, like I said. Oop, that's too far. One on each side for a compressor, which leaves me one on each side for left and right. Well, I've got left and right, but I need to be able to put in a pressure switch. Pressure switch has to go in order to be able to know what the pressure is, and eventually I can add gauges, which that means I'll have to have one more fitting. Yeah, I will talk about that later. Anyway, to get this working right now, these are the fittings that was sent with the kit. This is it. Which with this, you've got one fitting here, which that's one push to connect. So I'm trying to figure out how this one is going to split between two sides. You've got an in on this side, and you've got an in on this side. So you've got a 3/8 in on both sides. There's no way of putting an in on both sides with just these fittings. You need a T fitting to be able to split, or you go from the tank itself out to this. Well, in order to go from the tank out to this, you need two of these. I don't have two of these. And then this also needs to have a reduce to go into the tank. So there, if I did it like that, I've got one side done, and that's great. So now I can go to one side of this, but I don't have enough for the other side of this. That's for the pressure switch, and that's it on this. So now we jump over to these parts. These parts I bought for Little Golf. $75 worth of parts I got from thorbros.com. Ordered them myself for the setup that I'm doing on Little Golf. But a lot of you are going to say, well, then do that first. Well, I only have 1 week right now that I'm going to have off. I'm trying to get everything done. Little Goth is probably not going to be 100% ready to drive at the end of the week, but it should be really close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to try to figure out how to split everything so that I can get a line from both sides of the tank into here with one T-splitting, boom, for the pressure switch. And I've got 1/4 inch line to 3/8 right here. So there's another positive way of looking at that, that I can go out to the rest of it. And then I've also got these, which are 1/4 to 1/4, push to connect and threaded. And these are for the bags to actually go to the bags on little goths. So those probably won't be used. I need to have this go to that, which means I need to have, which I have these. This is a 3/8. This is a 3/8. I think I have some more 3/8 push to connect. I'm gonna have to look. But if I do it like this, I can go like this. And this actually takes care of the ability to put a pressure switch in line. I'm just going to use this again, just as reference. Oops, that's the wrong fitting. So let's just kind of mock this up real quick. So we've got that and that. This can go into this side. This is the pressure coming from the tank. So this will tell us how much that is. And then we got to go back out to the tank. The tank is going to have a push to connect fitting on it, which I believe these will fit the tank. Let me just make sure. Yes. Okay. Here is a 3/8 push to connect. That can be on the back side right there of this one, because I want to go 3/8 all the way into the valve block, which that's full PSI. This one can go over there on that side of the tank. See, this is on that side of the tank, so this will go into the tank. Into the tank on that side. Comes out and then down underneath all the way to here. And then this one goes all the way to there. I'm trying to think, is there a way of... Why did I think of that? I need a 3/8 nipple. If I take a 3/8 nipple, I can put that on the tank itself. If I put that on the 45 piece that's on the underside, damn it, everybody keeps calling me right now. Put that on the underside of the tank on that one, okay, because there's one hole that goes straight out and one hole that goes at an angle. If I did this at an angle like that, put a 3/8 nipple going to the tank, then I could actually take my pressure switch and put it on the uphill, because you don't really want water getting in your pressure switch. Over time it'll rust it. So if you have it like that and it's up, then that means that the water will end up draining down if it ever gets any moisture in there. Then you have your 3/8, and that can come down and hook straight to that. So there's the one side. And I just eliminated, this is my bulkhead. I bought bulkheads so that I can go from the outside to the inside. On little goth, I want to make a box. We'll talk about that later. All right, so the next thing is being able to go from the other side, which if you use, well, you use this 3/8 push to connect and put that right there. This is going to screw into this. And then this will screw into the angled down port on the other side. Well, actually up port. Okay, it's going to be like that. So, I thought those were down. Damn it. Why don't they put these holes on the bottom? Okay. That's still pretty good. Unless I did a, this one for this. That way it angles it one more time. And we can get it to go on the back side like this. And then that way, no, that goes straight into that. That's not going to work. think we'll just have to do it the way I was going to do it. And then we will take the hose and just kind of bend it around back behind it so I can get down to the valve block. So that'll work. Just angle it like that, and then the line can go from here down underneath on the back, and then the compressors can mount to there, and that'll work on that. That way the compressors are shooting air down below these. These are at the top where the moisture is hopefully not. All right, other side. This will still work the way I'm thinking. I don't know if I have any more angled pieces. That actually might work like that if I was to take this. No, because that goes... I still need that nipple. Well, yeah. Okay, on this side, if I take this, put that like that, this like this, and this goes 3/8. Screw that into there. Now this is now set up to go on the back side. All I need is a 3/8 nipple. There we go, like that. Can you see that? There. Now I got my pressure switch here, and if I need to, I can actually angle that way for space, and just kind of angle this in a way that allows that hose to go down underneath it, whichever way. So this is, I'm going to call this done. I'm going to put this back because, again, I'm not trying to use this one. Can't find the little nipple. All right. So that makes me happy on that. Now I've got the two pieces that go down to these, which is this one and this one. So that part's figured out. I need to figure out how I'm going to have all four of these come out and reduce down to 1/4. I really don't want to use all of my fittings in order to be able to do that, but I guess you do what you got to do sometimes. I've got some right here. If I went in line, this is 1/4, this is 3/8. I don't want to do the bulkheads on that. I may have to go to the store and find some other reduced fittings and whatnot in order to make this work, because I don't see any other fittings. And I need to get 4 of these to come out and then reduce as they go out to the bags. And that's the only way to be able to do that, because I need to have each one of these individual going out to the bags. All right. There's a lot of thinking, a lot of planning that goes into this. If you're actually sitting here listening to me and watching me try to brain and power through this, thank you. Because you got to make sure you have all your parts before you blow a vehicle apart that you're potentially going to use in a few days. Otherwise, you're stuck without a vehicle if that's your only vehicle. So always plan before you embark on something like this, so you don't get yourself into a big mess. I've got some other fittings down in the box back here. I'm going to look at those and see where I am. All right, I'm back. All right, so I made sure I went through everything and looked at everything just to make sure exactly where I am. And the other thing that was not included in the kit that I ordered was reduced fittings. These are 1/4 inch. The tank's 3/8. In order for this to screw into the tank, you need a reduced fitting, which I think I had one. But again, I had to make other stuff in order to make it work, so some of these reduced fittings were not there. I have one reduced fitting, and that will work, but I need one more for that. Well, on top of that, I either need to buy a reduced fitting for or actually I would either need to buy 4 more fittings for the airline at the bags to go from quarter to 3/8 push to connect if I was going to use a 3/8 line, but I'm using 1/4 inch line. So what I'm making up, I probably could order the parts, but I've got these right here. This is a 3/8 to 3/8 threaded to 3/8 push to connect. This is a 3/8 threaded to 3/8 quarter. I'm going to go down to the hardware store and I'm going to buy a 3/8 coupling so I can marry these together. That way I can go from a 3/8 line into the manifold and then 1/4 inch out to the bag. So that way I don't have to run a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 line all the way to the bag. I'll be able to run 1/4 inch doing this. Now I need to do this 4 times. So I'm kind of piecing a bunch of pieces together. I just now placed an order with doorbros.com so I can get the rest of the fittings, part of the fittings that I need. Because I also need to replace the extra fittings that I'm using, because these fittings were for Little Golf. So I've got this reduced fitting. Here's 3/8 to 3/8, just like the other one. So that one's going to make one. And then I've got a couple more. Luckily, I had a 3/8 to 3/8 here, but I still need one more of these. So hopefully the parts store can give me something I can piece together so I can get this shit done this week. Yeah. So I've got 3/8 to 1/4, 3/8 to 1/4, 3/8 to 1/4. I've got 3 of those. And then the last one, I don't want to have to use. I've got a 3/8 to 1/4 elbow. So, I mean, pretty much I'm bit and piecing all of these together to go 3/8 to 1/4 line. And then I've got 3 3/8 to 3/8. So I need one more of these. Which, like I said, luckily I had one of these. But I'll find something. It'll probably end up being a compression fitting to go 3/8 to 3/8. And that's so that I can reduce all 4 lines going to all 4 bags and be able to get this bitch together. What that means is I have to wait on all of those parts. Hopefully Jason comes through and I have all that by the end of the week, so I can be ready for that. If not, it's no big deal. One more week, Little Goth sitting on the side of the road. I've got a lot to do anyway, so it may be a couple of weeks before I get all that done, but I'm trying to get this shit done. Oh my god, this is turning into a huge long mess of a video of talking about fucking fittings. Well, anyway, I just ordered another $35 worth of fittings so that my wife's car can have all the fittings it needs, and Little Goth can have return fittings back. But yeah, 5, 8, 13, 18 fittings is what I just ordered, so I can have another round of fittings. I also want to put in line the gauge, so that's going to be 1/8 inch line. 1/8 inch line is really easy to run for your gauges, but again, I got to buy more fittings for the 1/8 inch lines. I'll get it figured out. I got to get on eBay now and order the rest of the fittings. I'm going to cut this video right here, guys. I've been talking for over half an hour about fucking fittings because I should have done a little bit more looking into so that I would have known what fittings I needed, so when I placed the order I could get exactly what was needed. That was, I guess you could say, that was my bad for not thinking out the order and putting a complete reliance in somebody else to order all the fittings for me. So, you know, you live and learn. Next time I order everything myself, like I normally do. So, thumbs up. I thank you guys for being here, and give me some comments at the bottom. And we'll see you guys in the next video.